Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Florida.
Home in Miami are the Marlins. Last night, the Cardinals and the Marlins met, and it was St. Louis, a run better. And here is game 2. The Cardinals and the Marlins. St. Louis has the best record in baseball. 46-24, 22 games over, only in America or in Miami. And Don King and Jason Hayward be on the field, along with Giancarlo Stanton ready to go. As Jaime Garcia, the lefty for the Cardinals, Matt Latos, the righty for the Fish. Hi, everybody. Rich Walsh along with Tommy Hutton. Welcome back. Nice job by Fox Sports 1 on last night's telecast. And I think it's nice that the country got a chance to see Giancarlo Stanton last night and see one of his longest home runs of his career.
You know, they saw it last night. You and I get a chance to see it all year. Giancarlo Stanton with a blast last night against Martinez, 484 feet. We've seen him visit the Budweiser balcony bar a few times. That was number 26 on the year, number 180 in his career. The 26 home runs represents 43% of the Marlins' home runs. And you also look at all the long home runs this year, and of the top 5, Giancarlo Stanton in that group. He's hit 11 in the month of June. That's a club record for the month of June. The thing that I like, Rich, against left-handers in just 53 at-bats, 8 home runs, and a slugging percentage over 800, and he faces a lefty tonight.
And the frustrating thing for Giancarlo and the Marlins, another game where he homers. Marlins had an early lead, couldn't hold it. Obviously, they'll try to change that tonight. It's Wednesday. It's not Tuesday, but we missed Tuesday. So emails and tweets tonight, and certainly a lot to talk about with the Marlins, the Cardinals, the Dodgers, and the Giants coming in as well. And the rotation. Rotation. The Marlins rotation is about to undergo a few changes. We'll explain when we return. rotation, question mark. For answers, center field, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine.
Well, we don't have all the answers, Rich, but we have a few of them as we welcome you in here. The Marlins don't have all the answers right now either in terms of who's going to be in their starting rotation with Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini. Jared Cozart will be activated tomorrow. We talked with him today. And you got Latos going tonight in the matchup against Jaime Garcia. As you look at Matt Latos getting back and getting ready for his start tonight.
Yeah, two pretty good starts. 2 starts ago, he was outstanding. Last start, gave up the Brett Gardner home run that put 3 earned runs on him. But a lot of positive things, a lot of positive signs from his return from the DL. Velocity's way up at 94, 95. We've seen him hit the last couple of games, so that's a good sign for the Marlins rotation.
All right, and then you look at the next 5 starters. The Latos tonight, Herron tomorrow. Cozart will be activated tomorrow, but Dan Jennings said he'll start off in the pen. Then Nicolino's going to get at least one more start. And then Kohler Saturday, and then take a guess for Sunday.
Yeah, TBD on Sunday, and then from there on, well, you don't know what's going to happen. Jose Fernandez joined the rotation back again July 2nd, and it could further throw a little chaos into the starting rotation.
I would have to bet they have a day off Monday. It would be Latos, Herron, Tuesday, Wednesday, then Jose. And then the question is, how are you going to work the other 2 spots? Was the rookie Nicolino going to be good enough to stay? Urena's in the mix? What do you think?
Well, it could be that. David Phelps has done an excellent job. So there's a lot of question marks, but little depth, too, which is a good thing for the Marlins to have.
But as Jared Cozart told us today, somebody and a few guys are not going to be too happy with 8 pitchers potentially in about a week for 5 spots. We got game 2, though, coming up. Be happy about that. Cardinals and the Fish next to Fox Sports 1.
Is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Florida Coast Equipment, Florida's largest Kubota dealer. Visit us at FloridaCoastEQ.com. And by AutoNation. Save on over 70,000 vehicles now. Visit AutoNation.com. A house divided. Marlins and Cardinals, they share a spring training site in Jupiter. And tonight, the first place, St. Louis Cardinals, bring you their lineup. And it's brought to you by JM Lexus. Colton Wong, a lot of pop up front with Wong and Matt Carpenter. Johnny Peralta's having a really nice year. Mark Reynolds in the cleanup spot. Our old friend Jason Hayward from Atlanta has found a home in St. Louis. Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Molina just a tick under 300. Former Hurricane John Jay out in center field. Randall Grichuk is in left field. He is a fun player to watch. And Jaime Garcia The lefty is on the mound for the Cardinals. And for the Marlins, Matt Latos trying to build on his last 2 starts.
Yeah, those last 2 starts, Rich, one against the Rockies. He pitched extremely well, 11 strikeouts in that game. Last time in New York against the Yankees, he took a no decision. And it's a team that he's seen quite often. 12 career starts against the St. Louis Cardinals. 5-5. However, the last 6 or 7 starts have been really good against St. Louis.
BMW brings you the defense. Marlins still have the best fielding percentage in the National League.
Yeah, just 27 errors on the season. A couple of little tweaks for Dan Jennings. Ichiro gets to start in left field. Ozuna and Stanton. Donovan Solano starting at third base. Etch and D. Gordon up the middle. Jeff Baker against the left-hander. He's at first base. JT Realmuto behind the plate.
And so Matt Latos takes aim at a Cardinal bunch that is 22 games over 500. The best winning percentage in the game. Colton Wong makes a fastball for a strike. Pinch Penny bringing you that first pitch. Wong in the leadoff spot. Matt Carpenter slotted second. And then Johnny Peralta hits third. Last night, 4-3. Cardinals beat the Marlins. Marlins jumped out to a 3-0 lead. And the Cardinals were able to catch him and beat him. In the air, Jeff Baker getting the start at first, and he's there to make the catch. Matt Latos has the first out of the first inning.
Yeah, this is one of the best starts the Cardinals have gotten off to in their history.
That's amazing. I read that note. You think of all the great history the Cardinals have. 11 World Championships, 19 National League pennants. Mike Matheny's been in the postseason in his 3 previous seasons. This his 4th. There's First Lieutenant David Bell, his bench coach. And here is Matt Carpenter. Matt Carpenter kind of embodies what the Cardinals have been all about the last 4 or 5 years. He wasn't a top draft pick, a 13th round pick in what was a turning point draft in 2009 for this franchise. Strike to Carpenter. And boy, did he burst on the scene in 2013. And once again, the Cardinals, a 6-game lead in the Central. The Pirates are 10 over, but they're 6 back.
That's amazing.
Carpenter, 2 years ago, an absolute doubles machine. He had 55 doubles in 2013. He cooled off a bit last year. But he always has a great on-base percentage. He led the National League in walks last year.
Sat out last night's game, had a little stiffness in his back, but he doesn't stay out of too many games. Just thinking, if the Pirates were in the National League East, they'd have a 4 or 5 game lead.
That's true. The Nationals, by the way, are first in the East, and they're home tonight against the Braves. The Nationals at 38 and 33. The Braves are a game under at 35 and 36. Not a lot of pretense about Carpenter there. No batting gloves. He's kind of a nitty-gritty hitter. There's the East. The Mets have fallen back to 500. Atlanta's 3 back. The Marlins, despite being 12 under, are 8.5 back. Latos, a good live fastball at 96 miles an hour. That may be the hardest we've seen him throw this year.
Yeah, in that start against the Rockies when he had 11 strikeouts, we saw it 94, 95 a few times. And then prior to him going on the disabled list, he was in the low 90s. So the velocity is back with that lower strength, and 96, just outstanding to see from Matt Latos.
Now Johnny Peralta.
97.
Goodness.
And look at the look of Peralta. That surprised him.
Well, the Cardinals saw a lot of Latos in the spring. You see Peralta's numbers are all quite healthy. And Latos, as you pointed out, the legs weren't there in the spring. The downward plane, the commands, and that carried over not only in his first start of the season, but really his first month of the season. As we pointed out, his last 2 starts, you can see a very different pitcher than the month of April. Liner to right. Stanton is there, and he makes the catch. And Matt Latos, a 1-2-3 first underway in Miami. Marlins and Cardinals scoreless. Who's got a Dodgers cap going on. Jan Lexus brings you Miami's lineup against Jaime Garcia, the lefty. D. Gordon in the leadoff spot. Ichiro is in there tonight in left. Jeff Baker gets a start, and he's hitting third. Giancarlo Stanton, a 10-game streak at home with a lot of collateral damage. Marcelo Zuna in the 5 spot. JT Real Muto hits 6th. Adeiny Echeverria slides up to 7th. Because Donovan Solano gets a start at 3rd in place of Derek Dietrich. And Matt Latos hits 9th. And this guy is not an easy night for a hitter. Jaime Garcia, the 29-year-old. And he'll take aim at the Marlins tonight.
You have one of the best receivers in the game, Yadier Molina, behind the plate. He'd be the first to tell you this guy is not an easy guy to catch. He's had shoulder surgery. He got a late start to this year because he was still recuperating from that. So making just his 7th start, but a lot of movement with the pitches that he throws.
So Molina's in the driver's seat. Garcia's on the mound. D. Gordon in the box. With Ichiro and Jeff Baker due up here in the first, and that pitch is a strike. D. Gordon a hit last night. It was a double. You see a .374 on base percentage, 24 stolen bases. Of course, a .354 average. He shoots that one foul. Garcia is just on a really nice run. Now, this is just his 7th start. He's had some awful shoulder issues to deal with ever since he had his labrum repaired back in 2013. Gordon's bouncer finds Reynolds at first. Cardinals not a bad defensive team.
Yeah, it's a defense that they've made 40 errors, but you don't really concern yourself with that. They're very steady. Randall Grichuk in left, John Jay, Jason Hayward, the outfield. Hayward a Gold Glover. Carpenter's solid. Peralta makes every play that he gets to. Colton Wong and Reynolds on the right side, and of course Yadier Molina behind the plate.
Ichiro in the box. Ichiro bounced to first as a pinch hitter last night. And Garcia throws a strike.
Ichiro in there for a couple of reasons. Just to give Christian Yelich that one night off. And Ichiro in his career and this year has always hit left-handers pretty well. This year, .371 against lefties. So Christian Yelich, he'll be back in there tomorrow.
There are scant few hitters in a Marlin uniform that have ever faced Jaime Garcia, which is odd because he's been in the big leagues for parts of the last 4 seasons. But Ichiro is one of those guys. He has 3 at-bats. He's 1 for 3. Stanton is 0 for 1. And Jeff Baker is 4 for 13.
It's almost like every time the Marlins and Cardinals have matched up, Garcia's been on the disabled list.
0-2 pitch.
The other thing that Dan Jennings said about Ichiro, he doesn't like to let too many games go by without getting him a start and getting him his 4 or 5 at bats. Look out.
I think what's made the arrangement or the situation work is the fact that Ichiro is a plus defender wherever he plays in the outfield. Center field, right field, left field. And you don't find too many fourth outfielders with his pedigree as an offensive player who can play all 3 and play them well. Grounder to third. Carpenter gathers it in and throws him out.
That's a good point, and you're right. Sometimes you get that fourth outfielder who's a good bat, but maybe can only play left. The Marlins actually had a guy, I believe he was just designated by Seattle, who was a good extra outfielder, who could play all 3, was Justin Ruggiano.
Brett Carroll, another name that you think of.
Cody Ross.
Yeah. All right, here's Baker against the lefty. Marlins against lefties this year. Very, very good as a team. Nobody better in Major League Baseball in terms of batting average, slugging percentage, and OPS, which is on base plus slugging. The Marlins are the best. Baker behind in the count, 0-2. But the guy they've got tonight in Garcia is no ordinary lefty. He's really pitched well lately. And it's strike 3. Boy, he came out firing. Baker caught looking, and the inning is over quickly. 1 in the book. Cardinals, Marlins scoreless.
SAP por Kendall Toyota.
Marlins Park, Cardinals, Marlins, game 2. Matt Latos, inning number 1, very impressive. He topped out at 97 miles an hour, which is about 3 or 4 ticks up from where he usually lives. 93-mile-an-hour fastball misses to Mark Reynolds. There are many amazing things about this Cardinal bunch. The fact that they're 22 over and have the best record in baseball, well, that's amazing. Even more so when you think that Matt Holliday's on the DL, Matt Adams is on the DL, Adam Wainwright is on the DL. That's some big-time pop and a ace in your rotation that they've missed.
And even a guy as Jaime Garcia, who's starting tonight, making just his 7th start of the year. His first start of the season wasn't until May 21st.
You give Mike Matheny an awful lot of credit. This is a young manager who came in and took over for a Hall of Famer in Tony La Russa, and the ball club has not missed a beat. The only thing he hasn't done is win a World Series. He's been in the World Series. In fact, in 3 years as a manager, just 3 years, he's managed 39 postseason games.
I remember he did not manage in the minor leagues. He was a special assistant in player development with the Cardinals. Of course, he had a long playing career.
Reynolds, right center. Stanton is there, and he makes the catch. So an out in the second and a Toyota trend in the second. Marlins have won 5 of the last 8 meetings. Of course, last night it was a run that separated the two. And the difference last night, well, Carlos Martinez getting hit by a pitch as he was trying to bunt. He came back out and finished his assignment, 7 innings. And then the bullpen duo of Segrist and Rosenthal were lights out for the Cardinals.
And this guy contributed. Jason Hayward with a home run. He's one of their hottest hitters right now, Hayward.
There's Martinez. Gave up 3 early runs and then hung in there. The Cardinals came back to tie it and then take the lead. Great pitch by Latos. Saws Hayward off. Gordon makes the catch. And both pitchers look sharp tonight.
I guarantee for the Cardinal hitters, they're coming up against Matt Latos, who many have seen over the years, and they're shaking their heads a little bit. They're saying this is a different Matt Latos that we've seen over the last few years.
Here is Yadier Molina. Yadier Molina could go down in history. In fact, he probably will go down in history and should go down in history as one of the greatest catchers defensively of all time.
Will that be enough? Will that be an Ozzie Smith type defense to garner him Hall of Fame votes?
You know what? If he goes another 4 years and wins 10 consecutive Gold Gloves or 11 consecutive Gold Gloves, if he makes 4 more All-Star teams, he's made 6 in a row. He has 89 hits in 85 postseason games. I mean, there's a deep resume, and there's an enormous amount of intangibles that he brings.
Well, the intangibles, the ERA when he catches, the pitchers that he's handled and made better.
0-2 pitch from Latos. Wow, right down the middle. Boy, Matt Latos, crisp, sharp, on the plate. Scoreless ball game in Miami. Cardinals and the Marlins. Tomorrow, Marlins and Cardinals finish off the 3-game set. 7:10 start tomorrow night. Seniors 55 and older can get free tickets on Senior Free Ticket Thursdays, presented by Wellmax Medical Centers. Or visit your local South Florida Subway restaurant. Get a coupon for a $5 ticket. Just go to marlins.com today. Giancarlo Stanton in the box, ready to go. Stanton, 484 feet for number 26, and he clobbers that one to center. Deep and gone!
And quick!
Wow! Like a rocket! Number 27.
Wow! That's all you can say.
What a show. I mean, if you're not coming out to watch this guy, if you're not tuning in to watch this guy, you are missing one of the great power shows of all time.
Just unbelievable. The strength, the quickness of this ball getting out to straightaway center field. Sometimes down the line, you'll see a ball get out in a hurry. This one straightaway center field.
Here is Marcell Ozuna. My goodness. 27 home runs for Giancarlo Stanton. And I think sometimes people lose sight of how big this ballpark is. It is maybe the biggest in all of baseball. The ball does not carry well, and Stanton makes this look average.
That's his 12th home run in the month of June. As players say, this is a man's park.
Ozuna takes outside, and he doesn't hit wall scrape. I mean, balls that just get over the wall. He hits balls that are no doubters in the biggest part in the game. Tommy, that is a line drive homer to straightaway center that hits up in the bushes. That's 430, 435, and it still had some giddy up behind it. Ozuna chops it over the mound. Wong has it, fires to first. It's picked by Reynolds. Another look.
There's some great numbers that surround Giancarlo as you look at this pitch. If you're a pitcher, you have to throw and duck. And this ball straight away center field. Giancarlo's played 36 games here this year, Marlins Park. 13 of his home runs have been hit here. All visiting opponents combined have hit 17.
Here's JT Realmuto. So 1-0 Miami. But the question, as it was last night when Stanton hit a 2-run homer in the first inning to give the Marlins a quick lead, is it enough? Garcia captures it and flips it to first. And Tommy, I think that's the overriding question for the Marlins right now. They have a hitter who is leading the majors in home runs and RBIs. 27 homers, 67 RBIs. They've got a guy in D. Gordon who's hitting 350. But it's not enough right now. They need to put the pieces together if they're going to go on some sort of a run.
That's a great point, Rich. I think it proves that in this sport of baseball, if you have two outstanding hot guys on an NBA team, boy, that's all you need. You go. But you need more on a baseball team. And I think we've seen that, not only in the pitching area, in the offensive area. Hitting with runners in scoring position has been poor over the last couple of weeks.
You know, it just occurred to me that it is Wednesday. We weren't here on Tuesday, and I know in the outset of our telecast we said we would take emails and tweets. I haven't checked yet, so I apologize. But the pitchers have been so sharp. Stanton just hit another bomb. There's been a lot to talk about early on. We'll start with Laurie in Lantana. when Fox Sports 1 has the game, is that a night off for you, or you guys still have to be at the ballpark? Tommy and I were here last night. We actually worked on the grounds crew.
We were in disguise.
Yeah.
Look at the strength, the balance, the follow through. Look at the balance just from the waist down. You know, Jay Johnstone did that one year at Dodger Stadium when he was a Dodger. He put on the grounds crew stuff and went out in the 5th inning when they straightened out the infield.
Here's one from Christian, and we have time to work on this. If we're up to you, give me your starters for the National League All-Star team. Echeverria in the center field, and it's a base hit. Not just Marlins, but give us your whole National League squad. So we'll work on that. I know that there's 2 guys especially, and maybe a third. You see Echeverria with that base hit. Echeverria.
Good to see Etch get back on track, too.
Yeah. Etch 1 for 4 last night, drove in a run. Gone through maybe his longest dry spell of the season.
Well, first of all, on the right side of the infield, I think it's a no-brainer. You have Paul Goldschmidt and D. Gordon at first and second. No offense to Anthony Rizzo. Goldschmidt having a little better year.
Well, it's a stacked position at,
Yeah.
at first base.
Certainly like Todd Frazier at third. But a guy who's really having a solid year at third base, Yunel Escobar.
Yeah, I'd stick with Frazier.
Yeah, I would too.
This is the balloting and the voting.
I have no problem with Johnny Peralta at short because I'd love to see Echeverria get there, but Peralta has played steady defense and he's having a very good offensive year.
Giant fans might say Brandon Crawford.
Yes.
Who I think, much like Echeverria, gets overlooked for a lot of the things that he does.
Be interesting to see, and you certainly have Stanton and Harper. Then it comes down to who is your third pick in the outfield, because I think we both agree Molina behind the plate.
Solano, and Garcia gets a glove down and gets it, but the Marlins are on the board, and they do it once again with the bat of that young man, Giancarlo, straightaway center with authority. It's 27.
Cardinals 1-0. St. Louis coming up to the plate. Giancarlo at number 27. Take a look at this. Good news. The new voting in this week. Giancarlo Stanton, remember he was number 4 last week. Moved up to the number 2 spot by a healthy 500,000 votes roughly. And over Holiday, who was second last week at 4.7 million. And Aoki, there's some news on. Just read tonight, x-rays were initially negative, and now they're showing a fracture in his right leg. So Aoki for San Francisco's having a good year, hitting .313. Will be headed to the DL. That's trouble for the Giants. Pence also a second time on the DL now. But for Stanton, moving, I don't know if you could say closer, guys, to Bryce Harper, because he set a record with over 9 million votes. That's better than the 7+ million Buster Posey had a couple of years ago. But at least, Rich and Tommy, it's going in the right direction.
Yeah, we like that.
I'll tell you, Craig and Tommy, here's the 0-1 to John Jay, the former Hurricane. Takes down low. In this day and age, I think Stanton, the last 2 nights, 2 eye-dropping home runs. You can get that link from Twitter. You can get it online. It's on just about every sports website where you just pull up the highlight, and the headline will be another jaw-dropping Stanton home run. I think it's easier for word to get out, easier for fans around the country to appreciate what a guy like Stanton is doing.
Oh, without question. And I think the same holds true with D. Gordon. And what helps D is the fact that last year he was an all-star and he was on the other coast. He was with the Dodgers. One guy we were talking about third base, a guy we have to include in there, another tough pick, is Nolan Arenado, having a solid year, a Gold Glover. So Frazier, Arenado, either one of them.
All right, now you went with Stanton and Harper in the outfield. We were asked in an email to name our National League All-Star team. And I'm going to throw as my third outfielder in there, Jock Peterson.
I'm going to throw A.J. Pollock in there.
2-2. Jay lines it to left. Ichiro is there, makes the catch.
You're right, too, Rich, about the first base position. We mentioned Goldschmidt, Anthony Rizzo certainly, Lucas Duda having a solid year with the Mets, Freddie Freeman, unfortunately on the disabled list now for the first time in his career. But yeah, a lot of first basemen. Adrian Gonzalez.
One day when talking about the National League All-Stars, I think you're going to be talking about this guy, Randall Grichuk. Grichuk is a really fun player to watch. He's got the odd name. He doesn't look like he's all that dynamic when you first see him, but when you watch him play, especially on a daily basis, the things that he does really jump out at you. He's exceptionally strong, for one. He's incredibly sound in terms of baseball skills. And this is a guy, a first-round pick by the Angels, that was sort of a throw-in in the Freeze trade. They got Peter Borges in that trade as well. David Freeze, the World Series hero, went to the Angels.
You realize he was the 24th pick in that first round. Mike Trout was the 25th pick in the first round. And here's a guy too, Rich, making the most of his opportunity. Would not have been playing as much had Matt Holliday not gone on the disabled list.
He saw the batting average. It's at .278. What you didn't see is his slugging percentage. .563. He's got 10 doubles, 4 triples, and 6 homers. Latos bounces it in front of the plate. Matt Latos to veer from hitting back to pitching. Matt Latos has retired all 7 that he's faced. He has struck out 2, and he's been sharp.
Right now, he has that fastball, but he's bounced a couple of sliders.
And there's the bat speed with Grichuk. It's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and he reached out and punished it foul.
Yeah, you read about Grichuk and hear about the strong wrists and the hands.
It's out, and Grichuk is aboard. Brings up the pitcher, Jaime Garcia. This Friday, of course, is a Marlins Flashback Friday. It's brought to you by Dodge. Just post the best vintage Marlins photo of yourself. Use the hashtag Flashback Marlins. We'll select the best vintage photo and feature it in the post-game show.
And Rich, you know, on Twitter we're going to get responses, and we like the responses because, trust me, we can't think of every player when we're trying to put together a list. Starling Marte thrown in the outfield. Outstanding year. McCutchen, you have to think about him as an all-star. But yeah, Marte, Harper, and Stanton, not a bad outfield in the all-star game. So I want to thank Brandon for helping us with that. We can't cover it all.
Runner goes. Baker to the bag and gets the out. So there's 2 outs here in the third. A Stanton home run is the only run in this ball game. There's how to find us tonight. Yes, it's Wednesday. We weren't here last night. I'm sure a few tried to send tweets and emails to the FS1 crew.
You know, as much as Cliff Floyd wanted to answer him, he just couldn't.
That's right. Not the protocol. So we'll do a little of that here tonight. Colton Wong now has popped out. Wong on 0 for 4 last night. University of Hawaii star. And he blasts one to right. It's deep, and it's gone off the facing of the second deck. Boy, he's strong too. And Colton Wong makes it 2-1.
We just talked about Matt Latos, how we've seen that fastball at a velocity we're not used to, 95, 96, 97. But he has struggled. He bounced a couple of sliders. He struggled with the command of that pitch, and it was the slider or changeup, but off speed. It was 85 miles an hour and hung right there middle of the plate for Colton Wong.
Here now is Matt Carpenter. Yeah, Colton Wong is not your prototypical leadoff guy. He's got 9 home runs and driven in 32. But he sure is a dangerous one, as he just showed.
Well, he's just continued to improve. It's just his 3rd year at the major league level. Only 24 years old.
Carpenter with a big swing and a miss. He struck out back in the first. So 2-1 St. Louis. All 3 runs via home run, and both home runs were pretty darn impressive. Stanton's to straightaway center. I don't think we've seen a estimate on distance on that one yet, and Wong just bounced one off the facing of the second deck and right. Ozuna in full flight makes the catch. Inning is over, but the Cardinals not only bounce back, but they take the lead. It's 2-1.
SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob SquarePants.
It's Nickelodeon night featuring SpongeBob SquarePants, and maybe Tutti the Frutti will be there with a cameo. June 26th, Marlins and Dodgers at 7:10. Purchase SpongeBob SquarePants package at marlins.com/special events. Get a Nickelodeon gift item, a ticket, and more. And fireworks presented by Barracuda Networks. The affable Tutti the Frutti the Clown, who is often here on Sundays making balloon animals, and in that case, a balloon cartoon character of SpongeBob.
The kids love it.
Yes, they do. Matt Latos, D. Gordon, Ichiro against Jaime Garcia, who all of a sudden has himself a 2-1 lead, and he has to be thrilled that the Cardinals have even scored a run, let alone 2 runs. He's had absolutely no support in his last 4 starts. He's 1-2. His ERA is 0.96.
In his 6 starts, they've averaged just a little under 2.5 runs a game for him.
So the lefty was born in Mexico, moved to Mission, Texas when he was in high school.
You talked, Rich, about all the shoulder issues. He also, in 2009, had Tommy John surgery. So he's gone through a lot.
Patrick tweets in, how about Charlie Blackmon for the outfield? Stanton and Harper.
It's all right.
Need a good beard on your team, don't you? Garcia over to first in time to get the out. This copyright telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. And Latos is out number 1 here in the 3rd. Top of the order, second time through against Jaime Garcia. Marlins had a couple of hits. Giancarlo Stanton homer to center, and the Danny Echeverria 2-out single. Line drive to center. Stens wants to know. Actually, it's Alex from Coral Gables. Wants to know what was the bat speed on that monster home run by Stanton.
Stens or Alex? It was 111.2 miles per hour.
That's a category that Stanton dominates. And that is
base hits is dominated by it.
Gordon's got a handle on that one.
Gordon.
Doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Single to left, and now an interesting duel between Garcia and Gordon will probably ensue. Breaking ball, stayed with it, and punches it through the left side.
That is Ichiro-esque.
And here is Ichiro with Gordon, the runner at first. Jeff Baker on deck, 1 out.
I have to tell Carlos that it's not your fault. Carlos tweets, hey, when you mentioned that Latos had retired 7 straight, then he gives up a walk, then a 2-run blast.
I can just be quiet for 3 hours.
There would some who
yeah, you're right.
Some who probably would like that.
That's true. Some would say, hey, Rich, good idea. 0-2. Jaime Garcia. The Cardinals trying to add to a major league best record. They're 22 games over 500. Leaning is Gordon, and it's close. A better throw, and he's out.
Yeah, the Cardinals, certainly with their record, have played well on the road and at home. Gets back, good reactions. They're 20-17 on the road, but the Cardinals are 26-7 at home.
Wow. that makes for a good time at Busch Stadium, and the ballpark village that they've, remember the ballpark village last year was open and finally had it, and it's just an incredible facility just over the I guess left center field. This enormous building, including a big Fox Sports restaurant,
a huge screen. And if that's too crowded, then you go another block to Shannon's, Mike Shannon's restaurant and bar.
It's true. Every sports hero in St. Louis history has a restaurant. I think Daniel Descalso's actually closed when he went to the Rockies. But they'll be opening in the same location, Grichuk's, come August. Ichiro jammed there, and he floats it into the seats. 0-2 to Miami's left fielder. Christian Yelich had a couple hits last night. He gets the night off against the lefty, and Ichiro's always hit lefties well. Ichiro gets in there, and as Tommy pointed out, a chance to try to keep him sharp with 4 or 5 at bats tonight. Gordon's been caught leaning a couple times, and he's running here. Pitch out, Molina's throw, and he is safe.
I think in that case, Jaime Garcia had in his mind the pitch out. And so even if he saw D. Gordon with that good jump, he threw the ball to the plate, and he almost threw it for a strike. It almost came back over the plate. Good reaction certainly by Molina, who made it closer than a lot of catchers would with that throw.
Yadier Molina, since 2005, has thrown runners out at a 42% clip, which is inhuman. Gordon is safe, although Colton Wong asked for a replay, and obviously the Cardinal replay room looked at it. But you can see the hand was in before the tag. 1-2 pitch, and Ichiro strikes out on a breaking ball, and a good one by Garcia.
We've seen Jaime Garcia, the 28-year-old, to give you a chance to scout him here. That ball has natural sink and movement. His out pitch, that last pitch, that pitch he threw to Ichiro, and when he's been healthy, he's been one of the most solid pitchers in the league.
Here's Baker now.
But he's never thrown 200 innings, and he's only had more than 30 starts once.
It's a guy that had Tommy John surgery early in 2008. Baker struck out in his only at bat. And then we touched upon the shoulder issues late 2012, 2013 labrum repair, and then nerve repair after the labrum surgery. Into the bat, little squibbler, tough English. Reynolds flips it, and Garcia gets it. And that saved the run because Gordon didn't stop, and had he dropped it, 2-1 Cardinals. The fantastic All-Star finalists have been announced, and we want to help a Fish fan win a trip to the All-Star game in Cincinnati to represent both the Marlins and Fox Sports Florida. Go to foxsports.com/fantastic all-star to vote now through June 24th. D. Gordon with a hit and a stolen base, but he is stranded at second. Giancarlo Stanton, we're still waiting on distance. We had exit speed over 111 miles an hour on the bullet that he hit to center field that landed in the shrubbery.
I'm going to say what, 430?
I said 430, 435.
Yeah.
Johnny Peralta swings and misses. Speaking of All-Star, emails and tweets tonight. I know it's Wednesday, but we weren't here last night, so we are accepting them tonight. Stacy wants to know the procedure for choosing players that participate in the home run derby. And has Stanton said whether he would participate if asked? Well, they name a captain, a guy that's going to the All-Star game for both the National League and the American League, and that captain then gets to choose, with the help, I'm sure, of Major League Baseball, the participants. And yes, Stanton, especially when asked while the Marlins were in Cincinnati, where the All-Star game will be, Stanton said, yes, if asked, I am in.
Isn't it amazing in that ballpark? He talked about it. You know, you think about home runs because it's a small park.
In the hole, Echeverria sliding and throwing him out. Peralta by a step. Echeverria got to the ball, but he had a slip as he tried to plant, but he still got plenty on the throw.
Watch this pick. There's the slip, but he's able to plant and gets Peralta by a couple of steps. There's an all-star defensive play. Peralta doesn't make that play, but obviously his numbers and his steadiness at shortstop will get him there. But Echeverria certainly deserves to get some votes.
He is playing Gold Glove caliber defense this year, and that's not just me speaking. You talk to scouts, you talk to other managers, you talk to other broadcasters, people that watch him play not only day in and day out, but advanced scouts who are here to scout the Marlins for other major league teams. Latos gets the glove down, and Reynolds with a comeback. That's out number 2.
Here's a good question, Rich, from Brian. Brian wants to know, with the emergence of Justin Bour, how do you think the Marlins will utilize Michael Morse when he returns? Nicely done by Matt Latos. Well, first of all, it's been a struggle in this month for Justin Bour. Justin Bour in the month of June hitting just 130. Michael Morse has played 5 or 6 rehab games. He's been in AA. He's in AAA now. And I would say 3 or 4 more games, if all goes well, we'll see Michael Morse.
Jason Hayward to Hopper to Baker at first. 1, 2, 3 go the Cardinals. Giancarlo Stanton, hit number 27, last at bat. You don't want to miss his next one. Whenever you go in Miami, your advantage is here at Warren Henry. This is Giancarlo Stanton. And that's into the bushes, center field. Exit speed 111 miles an hour. T-Mobile game changer. Stanton now with 12 homers in the month of May. He and Dan Uggla had the old record. Stanton did it 2012. Uggs did it back in 2008.
Do you know, Rich, why he surprised Jaime Garcia? Because that was his first home run this year on the first pitch.
Got a change up.
Trying to do it again.
Yes. Another change up. That's a strike. Stanton didn't like it. And you don't often see him looking sideways at an umpire.
Last year, I mean, the numbers just start getting really interesting to follow with Giancarlo.
Trip Gibson's home plate umpire. He was on that call. It was at the knees.
27th home run. Giancarlo's 27th last year was on August 7th. He hit number 27 August 7th in Pittsburgh.
Coming into tonight, his pace was for a 59 home run season.
Well, we talked about it before the game, how the Marlins as a team have hit left-handers very well. Giancarlo, that was his 9th home run against a left-hander in just 54 at-bats. He's slugging about 850.
Change-up
got some good change-ups at bat. Good adjustment by Garcia.
Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig.
All right, guys, I'm with Jack Eichel, Connor McDavid over here to the right, Dylan Strom. These are 3 of the guys who will go in the top maybe 5 picks in the National Hockey League draft in Sunrise this week. First of all, Connor McDavid got a chance to hit with the other prospects here. How'd you do out there today? How'd you enjoy hitting some baseballs here at Marlins Park?
It was a lot of fun. I mean, obviously didn't hit it very good. Don't usually play baseball very much, so it was just fun to be out there with the guys.
A week you'll never forget, though, in South Florida. Dylan's from Mississauga, and he's going to go in the top picks. What's this week like for you guys?
It's pretty cool. It's fun just hanging out with the guys. Got to know these guys pretty well over the past couple of weeks. I've been on a few trips with them now, so it's pretty fun, and it's fun hitting some balls with them, and we had a good time.
You know Josh Naylor a little bit, the Marlins' #1 pick, who was here, took batting practice a couple of weeks ago. Did you ever come across him in games, or?
I've seen him a couple of times. My cousin actually played with him a couple of years ago, so I went to watch him, but he didn't get to hit the intentional walk. Then I think 3 for 3. So no, he's obviously can hit the ball a mile, so he'll be good for the Marlins one day.
You guys met Stanton today. What was that like?
He's huge. He's bigger than he is on TV than he is in person. So no, he definitely has huge shoulders, and he can crush a ball.
Jack Eichel will probably be the top American selected. I guess, is it nerve-wracking this time of year for you guys?
No, I think more than anything, we're all just excited for it. I think no really reason to be nervous. I think it's a great time for everyone, and it's really cool to enjoy this with your family and friends.
And especially with these other guys here, you're all going to be playing against one another at some point, including some of your friends that you played against. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's nice getting to meet these guys. We were in Chicago for a little bit, and now coming here and having some of the experiences that we've had, it's been pretty cool.
All right, Jack, thanks, guys. Good luck. I know it's a huge week in your lives. The Marlin players, many of them, were in the same spot in the baseball world not too many years ago as well. Let's go back to Rich and Tommy.
All right, thank you, Craig. Those young men getting ready for an interesting turn in their life.
Yeah, embark on a professional career.
JT Real Muto. Jaime Garcia with a 2-1 pitch.
You embark on that professional career, and I think it holds true in any sport. You get to that level, and all of a sudden you find out every kid you're playing against, or even your teammates, they were all the best from whatever area they were from.
Real Muto smacks one to left. Grichuk is there to make the catch. And a 1-2-3-4 for Jaime Garcia. Mix and match our famous Big Buford and Big Chicken Deluxe. Get 2 for $5. Checkers. It's in the bag. By Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. And by Lexus of Pembroke Pines. Price, service, selection. You're going to love us. Marlins Park, 2-1. Cardinals on top. All the runs by home run. Giancarlo Stanton, and then Colton Wong, a 2-run homer. Yadier Molina swings through the first pitch from Matt Latos, who has looked outstanding except for one pitch. And that was an off-speed pitch he threw to Colton Wong, who blasted it off the facing of the second deck in right field.
Michael has a tweet. Rich, I know it's something that's been discussed. What are the chances the Marlins bring the fences in a little bit to allow more home runs, to cater to Stanton's power? Don't really need to cater to Stanton's power. Doesn't matter with him. But I think it's something that's been discussed.
There is only one ballpark in baseball that has yielded fewer home runs, and that is AT&T Park in San Francisco. Molina's tapper to third. Solano gets the out. South Florida Honda dealers, get you ready for tomorrow night's game, and they'll do it at 6:30 sharp. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Started to say Millar before I was finished with Conine. Kevin Millar will check in. Kevin Millar has been here the last 2 nights, 2 afternoons. Lance Lynn and Dan Herron will be the pitchers. Intentional talk on MLB Network. Liner. Oh! D. Gordon
can't get it over his head.
In fact, D. Gordon today dunked on Kevin Millar. They brought the hoop out right on the set, and Gordon showing off his hops here.
Boy, John Jay has hit 2 balls on the nose, a line drive to left, and now he gets picked by D. Gordon. It's one thing to be able to leap that high. It's another to be able to time it perfectly.
His father and his uncle had to convince him to give up basketball and give baseball a shot. That one from Grichuk is hit well. deep left center. Ozuna back there, makes the catch. Randall Grichuk hit it a long ways. Ozuna runs it down. Halfway through, it's 2-1 St. Louis. Calories. Outstanding. On Friday, the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup continues. Quarterfinal matchup. Team USA against China. Alex Morgan will lead Team USA. It's win or go home now. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on your local Fox station. Catch the whole tournament streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Let me just tell you that the women playing in the World Cup will not be eating what we saw prior to that. Maybe after the tournament.
Danny Echeverria takes down low. That's one of the reasons they don't let us into the Fox Sports Florida suite here at Marlins Park. It's for our own safety. Echeverria single back in the second.
They see what we do in there the night of the fantasy auction.
Peralta very steady, very dependable at short, not flashy, doesn't have great range, but everything he gets to, every play that he can get a glove on, he usually makes.
And he's been an all-star a couple of times already. Johnny Peralta having an all-star year this year.
Had a lot of rotation questions with everybody coming back. Everyone wants to know who's going where, who's staying, who's leaving. Well, we do know that Jose Fernandez will be back at the end of this homestand on the 2nd.
Mark it down, July 2nd. It's a day game. It shows no TV on your schedule, but Fox will be televising. Fox Sports Florida, we're going to have it for you.
Jared Cozart will rejoin the Marlins tomorrow, but he will go to the bullpen. Justin Nicolino will get a start this weekend. Solano did not swing.
You realize this weekend, with the Marlins playing the Dodgers, the Marlins could see Clayton Kershaw and Zach Greinke in that series.
How do you see the rotation situation? Is it as simple as whoever is pitching the best and gives the Marlins the best chance to win is going to be in that rotation.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. We're not sure how far off Henderson Alvarez. He's still a little ways off. A Marlin All-Star last year.
Solano, little dribbler, Carpenter gets it just in time to first.
You know, we're going to look and see how things line up. Dan Herron tomorrow night, Nick Alino, and then Tom Kohler. Remember, Tom missed the start with some stiffness in his neck. And then you start going, okay, you have David Phelps who's throwing well. Pretty soon you're looking ahead. You're saying Jose's coming back. Whatever moves are made, if you bring the best guys in the rotation, whoever goes to the bullpen just enhances the bullpen and makes the bullpen better. And you're part of a team. If a starter obviously goes to the bullpen, he's not going to be happy. He wants to start, but he's going to have to realize, hey, there are other guys ahead of me who are throwing better.
Matt Latos 0 for 1. Jaime Garcia gave up the Stanton home run. That was in the second, and that's it.
Just been one walk in the game. That was issued by Matt Latos. Garcia has not walked a batter.
Struck him out. Latos rung up. Garcia catches a corner. It's 2-1 Cardinals. Rewind. Marlins Park opening night. This is 2012. And it was Mike Matheny and the Cardinals who were in. David Freese. Logan Morrison in left field. And with a Lance Berkman sighting. Those Cardinals were just coming off a World Championship, a thrilling 2011 World Series.
As you said earlier, it's teams certainly the Marlins become familiar with, sharing the beautiful complex up there, Roger Dean in Jupiter. So we see a lot of these guys.
Matt Latos gets a little extra time to get out. Mike Matheny and the Cardinals right now, a comfortable lead in a very competitive division. That's how good the Cardinals are right now at 46-24. We noted Pittsburgh is 10 over and yet 6 back. The Cubs are 9 over and 6.5 back. And so those three teams not only fighting for a division but fighting for wild card status Tony La Russa, ladies and gentlemen, in the bobblehead museum.
What's a big rip by Garcia. The Cubs had a 1-0 win. 10th inning against the Dodgers last night.
D. Gordon gets the out. Garcia was done. Here comes Colton Wong. You got Matt Carpenter due up as well. Geico presents this day in Marlins history. Safeco Field. Remember, the Marlins were the home team for the series that was moved to accommodate preparation for a U2 rock concert. And I believe that concert never took place, right? Was that the year that Bono hurt his back and they postponed the tour till the next year?
Yeah, Bono's been pretty durable over his career, too. Hasn't gone on the DL too often.
Colton Wong, shallow left. Ichiro is there and makes the catch.
Talk about efficiency prior to this inning. And he's had a quick 2 outs here. Prior to this inning, Latos needed just 13 pitches to get 6 outs over the previous 2 innings.
Now Matt Carpenter, who was struck out and lined out. The Colton Wong homer was to right. Latos, for all of the issues that he's had this year and getting healthy and right, has not given up a lot of long balls. That's just the 5th home run, but it was, I guess, reminiscent, so to speak, of the Brett Gardner 2-run homer that he gave up in the 6th inning. His last start at Yankee Stadium. For both teams, aside from the 2 home runs, there have been a lot of uncomfortable at bats tonight. Both starters have done a nice job of feeding their infielders with ground balls.
Yeah, just a tremendous efficiency. Latos still has good velocity. 61 pitches, and he's just an out getting through the 6th inning. That ball had a couple of areas of JT.
Foul back. Jim, who is a loyal viewer, has a few questions via email. How many home runs has Marlins Park cost Giancarlo Stanton? Are there any charts to show them? And as we await this 0-2 pitch, which is up and in. Because this is a big ballpark, do you think opposing pitchers go after him a little more here than they would, say, in Cincinnati? Or
I would say they might go after other hitters, but not Giancarlo. And to me, it's really more how many other hitters have lost home runs here, because Stanton just hits them out. They go out anywhere. Yeah, maybe he's had a couple, maybe a couple of deep center that would have been out other places, but most of the ones he hits here are well out.
Right center, it's Stanton, who makes the running catch. And Matt Latos going strong, a 1-2-3 6. Oh, the carnage there. Let's take a look at tomorrow's starters presented by Chevron. Lance Lynn coming off a bit of a forearm issue, and Dan Herron, who was originally drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals. It's Lynn and Herron tomorrow night.
Yeah, Lance Lynn coming off the DL. Lots of strikes, lots of fastballs from Lynn.
Bottom 6.
I think Bob the Shark was going after Fred Bird down there.
1-run game. Third time through. D. Gordon on the ground. Wong gathers it and gets the out. A 1 for 3 for D. Gordon. Marlins have just the 3 hits. The Stanton homer. And Echeverria also has a single.
Have a tweet from Habo. And Habo, I'm with you. I kind of agree. Habo said, thanks for Twitter Wednesday, but it just feels different. There's something special about Twitter Tuesday.
Here is Ichiro. Our buddies from Asheville are with us tonight, Stan and Stan. How much discussion is there about re-signing Ichiro? There has been noise about that. I think the Marlins have indicated they like the way this year is going. It's probably too early to say, hey, this is what he's going to do over a full season. But here on an email Twitter Wednesday, that's how you get a hold of us. It's an interesting question.
I think certainly, as you said, the Marlins have been pleased with the role that Ichiro has played. I think Ichiro has enjoyed his time here in Miami, his teammates, this area, this ballpark.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Got Jeff Baker and then Giancarlo Stanton. Marlins on base plus slugging, batting average, slugging percentage against lefties is the best in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup because best in a lot of those categories against lefties, but struggles against this St. Louis Cardinals team over the years.
Carpenter got it on a hop, throws across the diamond in time to get Ichiro. Carpenter thought he caught it clean. Let's go down to Craig Minervini. Craig?
Thank you, Rich. The Marlins have a few new hats I want to show you. They are available at the team store. How about this one? Very good looking navy blue with the red, white, and blue Marlins logo. July 4th, they'll wear this one in Chicago. And then we have the home run derby. If Giancarlo gets in there, that is going to be, now Jose wants the hat. That's the home run derby hat with the All-Star logo on the side. See that? And then this one, drum roll please, that's the All-Star game hat. What do you think of that one?
It's a throwback.
That's different.
Yeah, it's the throwback to the old Cincinnati teams of the 1800s, and they had kind of this, what do they call it, the stovepipe hats that were kind of.
Why do they have the square top like they came back with in the 70s? Remember that Pirates had that? A lot of teams had the kind of square top.
Because they want to sell hats. Right?
Are they going to sell this one? Look at this thing.
I don't know. I don't know. It looks good on you, though. good time tonight. Cardinals up 2-1. Saturday is a Saturday spectacular, and remember, it's a 4:10 start. The Dodgers are here. And you can pick up the all-you-can-eat seats for just $35. Get the new Giancarlo Stanton G-Squad package, just $27. It includes a limited edition G-Squad arm sleeve. Go to Marlins.com and secure your seats today. Jaime Garcia and Matt Latos both have been on their game, and both have been touched by a long ball. Garcia gave up the Stanton homer. Latos, the 2-run homer by Colton Wong. This is Johnny Peralta, and he takes in Mark Reynolds, Jason Hayward follow in the 7th. There's Dan Herron, gets the start tomorrow night. Don Juan has a tweet. Do you think Giancarlo Stanton will ever hit a 500-foot home run?
Absolutely. I'm surprised he hasn't hit one by now.
Yeah, 484 was yesterday. Has our crack staff or baseball historian found the distance on the one today yet? That one down the left field line, foul. Hit Tracker Online is the distance that we go with. And the initial return is 454 feet. So 454. That's another homer over 450 feet. So 454 for those of you scoring at home. Right up in the bushes or the shrubbery. Ichiro gets to it. With that in mind, with 454 in mind, the longest home runs by distance in baseball, Stanton has a pair at 484, Jock Peterson at 480, A-Rod went 477, Stanton went 475.
And if in fact, Rich, the 454 is the number, it'll be Stanton's 8th home run this year of 450 feet or more. First time the Cardinals in this game have gotten their leadoff man on base. Boy, this is a guy over the years who could hit him a long way. But of course, Mark Reynolds, also a prolific strikeout king. He led the National League in strikeouts 3 times, the American League once.
Is his 223 strikeout season of 09 still? Does that still stand?
I believe it does.
I believe it's the most strikeouts by one player in a regular season.
Right behind him one year was Big Adam Dunn. Struck out 222 times.
Chris Carter and Drew Stubbs are also on that list of 200 or more strikeout seasons. Reynolds out of the University of Virginia. And he takes in. And so Latos now opens the 7th. A line drive single by Peralta. A walk to Reynolds. And here comes Hayward. You see Dan Jennings on the phone and Chuck Hernandez on his way to the mound.
And we talked about Jason Hayward coming into the game with a 6-game hitting streak, 12 for 26 now. So it's been a hot streak for Hayward. He homered last night. So certainly Latos has to be careful with him.
Miami's bullpen active. Hayward, Molina, and Jay. And that's why it's Mike Dunn who's up right now. He's still not throwing off the rubber, so that's an indication that he's at least a couple minutes away from being ready. Hayward's popped out and bounced out. It was a bit of a jolt in the offseason to read that the Braves had traded Hayward to the St. Louis Cardinals.
It just shows you the depth that the Cardinals have had over the last few years in pitching. To trade away a Shelby Miller, not knowing that an Adam Wainwright was going to go down, and they're still strong. That's their strength. They have the best ERA in the game.
Hayward to right, Stanton over at the track, gone. 3-run homer, and the Cardinals crack it open. Matt Latos has given up a 2-run homer and a 3-run homer, and it's 5-1 St. Louis.
Well, he went with a fastball. It was 92, but remember we saw him keep that fastball down consistently in the early innings. This one stays up, and Jason Hayward doesn't waste any time to jump on it. His 9th of the year.
Molina to center. Ozuna is there, and he makes the catch.
Boy, there's that solid swing we saw so many times when Hayward was with the Braves. That's his 5th career home run here in this ballpark.
Now John Jay. Latos is just at 78 pitches. Jay has lined out twice. Swings and misses. Odd to see John Jay's batting average at 229.
He's battled some wrist problems this year. Probably played some when it wasn't 100%. But you're right. Here's a guy who's came into this year at 295 lifetime average.
He had a big year last year at 303. On base was at 372.
He always enjoys coming back home.
He saved his best for last year, postseason. Of course, last year, beaten in the National League Championship Series. John Jay had 14 hits. He had 485 in the postseason. Echeverria gets the out. So 2 outs after the Jason Hayward 3-run homer. And here is Grichuk.
It's one of the areas, you mentioned it earlier, Rich, that Matt Latos has been good at not allowing the long ball. He had allowed just 4 home runs prior to this one tonight.
Brad Hand and Mike Dunn up. Stanton over. It's a long foul ball. We've seen Stanton make that play, that sliding catch, a few times this year. I don't know if he had it in his sights or just didn't get a good read on it.
I don't think he got a good read, and also keep in mind the way he plays, shading over into that gap in right center. That's a long way to go.
Grichuk swings and misses and strikes out. Matt Latos, though, a 3-run homer by Jason Hayward makes it 5-1. Swings of the bat have equaled 5 runs for the St. Louis Cardinals. Colton Wong, a 2-run shot in the 3rd. Jason Hayward, a 3-run homer in the 7th. And that Giancarlo Stanton homer is the only run of the night for the Fish. Stanton drives this one to right field. Back goes Hayward off the top of the wall. Stanton around first. He'll hold right there. My goodness. Stanton diving back in is going to get back ahead of the throw. That line drive just kept taking off and rising, and it almost ended up in Miami's bullpen.
Well, you have to love the aggressiveness of Stanton tonight. Every time up, he swung at the first pitch. Every time up. This ball, we were asked in an earlier email or tweet if this ballpark has taken some home runs away from Stanton. I think this is a case, yes, because it's a high fence. You get an 8-10 foot fence, that ball's out, it's a home run. So unfortunately, it's a hard, long single.
So Stan with a leadoff single, about a 365, 370 foot single. And here is Marcell Ozuna. Bat speed, the exit speed off the bat, 108 miles an hour on that Stanton single off the top of the wall.
Here's a good question, Rich, from Brent. Wants to know what needs to change in the second half of the season in order for the Marlins to get to the playoffs. A lot of things. I mean, supporting cast. The Marlins have the stars. Talking about the show, there's the stars in D. Gordon and Giancarlo Stanton. The supporting cast hasn't played their role yet. The Yelich's, the Ozunas, the Michael Morses, who's on the disabled list now. That's one thing. Continuity with the starting pitching. Hopefully we'll get back together, and improvement in the bullpen. So yeah, it's possible, but there are some things that have to be done.
Jaime Garcia. Strike to Ozuna. Garcia and Latos were kind of neck and neck, getting outs, getting bad contact and ground balls. And then all of a sudden, top of this inning, a couple of guys get on. Hayward hits it out, and it's 5-1. Ozuna to left. Grichuk is there, and he makes the catch.
A couple of well-hit balls here in this inning off Garcia.
Garcia has struck out 4. He's walked no one. A run on 4 hits. And he, like Latos, he hasn't thrown a whole lot of pitches as he pitches here in the bottom of the 7th. His 82nd pitch to JT Realmuto. It was bounced out and lined out.
Donna says these games are like watching Groundhog Day. Saw Hayward's home run. You know what? Groundhog Day was much more enjoyable to watch. It's one of my favorites. Bill Murray. Waking up to Sonny and Cher every morning. Over and over and over.
Realmuto into right center field. That's a hit. Stanton to second. And so the Marlins have a couple of hits here in the 7th. The Cardinal bullpen has been quiet all night. As well they should be. But right now things are starting to happen.
There's another addition, an addendum, if you will, to that question about what do the Marlins need to do. In a small capsule over the last 6 games, in which the Marlins have gone 1-5 coming in it tonight, 6 for 43 with runners in scoring position, a 140 batting average. They have to improve in that area.
And it sounds like there will be some bodies coming back, not just pitchers and not just Jose. Craig, you got an update?
Yeah, you're right. Jose, as we know, is going to pitch Saturday against Jacksonville. Henderson Alvarez is going to throw from 120 feet and throw off the mound on Saturday. But some of the names you're talking about right now, Brian Morris tonight pitched an inning in Jupiter, just a 1 strikeout allowed. Good job. Don Kelly playing second base tonight, 0 for 2 for Jupiter. Michael Morse continues to play at AAA. He was 0 for 3 today and 1 for 4 last night, RBI. And Martin Prado, his range of motion is working out nicely, and they're eyeing perhaps that end of the month return when he comes off the DL, perhaps into early July. So that's how it looks on the short side anyway. The Marlins trying to get some pieces back. And then Jared Cozart told us today, Cozart said, hey, there's going to be some guys who are unhappy. That is the business. He said, I think I'm a starter, but we'll see. But he'll come back as a bullpen guy, at least starting tomorrow, it appears.
All right, thank you, Craig. And Danny Echeverria up right now. Miami trying to work their way back. 5-1 Cardinals. Bottom 7. Echeverria to center field. John Jay. And there are 2 outs. Cardinals have very good starting pitching, and their bullpen has been outstanding. Any former Marlin, Randy Choate, still going strong. Is Choate.
Yeah, the Cardinals team earned run average 2.72. Just incredible. The Cardinals and the Pirates, the only 2 teams in the major leagues with team ERAs of under 3.
Derek Dietrich has emerged on deck. You got Choate, a lefty specialist. No one's made more appearances as a lefty out of the bullpen in Major League Baseball since 2009 than that guy. Of course, you got the lefty on the mound. The Marlins starting a lineup with a lot of right-handed bats in it. Jeff Baker getting a start. Donovan Solano getting a start. And so the bench for Miami is
lefty heavy.
There you go. Thank you. Solano fights it off. Count 2-2.
Something that Molina may have seen in the delivery to Garcia. Maybe talking over what they want to throw, maybe even changing signs. Stanton at second base.
David Bell on the bench. Derek Lilliquist, who's been in the pitching coach position. Boy, two large sets of shoes to fill, right? Manager, pitching coach, Tony La Russa, Dave Duncan, Matheny, and Lilliquist have done it well. A little tapper back to the mound. Garcia underhands to first in time. And Miami is done in the 7th to the 8th. Cardinals 5-1.
It's either deja vu or Groundhog Day because Giancarlo homered last night to get things started for the Marlins. Absolute rocket number 27 on the year for Big G. And the Marlins had an early lead, but Colton Wong erased that lead. His home run, a 2-run shot, just like that. It was 2-1 St. Louis. In the 7th inning, base hit a walk, and then a Jason Hayward 3-run homer. The Cardinals have 5 runs on 3 hits. A 2-run homer and a 3-run shot.
Brad Hand out of Miami's bullpen, and Hand takes over in the 8th. And the Cardinals showing in these first 2 games of the series why they have the best record in baseball. Last night they fell behind, came back. Their bullpen was solid in relief of 7 innings of Carlos Martinez. Derek Dietrich in a double switch is at third. So Dietrich in the 9 spot is due to lead off in the bottom of the 8th. And then here tonight, when there's not a lot of hits, the Cardinals muscle up with 2 home runs and have a 5-1 lead. Garcia swings and misses. It's 0-2. What do you make of Matt Lato's start tonight?
That's kind of a crazy start.
With keeping in mind that his last 2 starts have been pretty good.
It's, I mean, gave up 5 runs. You give up 5 runs, it's not a good start, but he gave up 3 hits. His fastball was live. Early on, he struggled a little bit with the slider, then started to command that better.
Garcia smacks it into right field.
So the bottom line, yes, did he have good stuff? Did he throw the ball well? Yes. But he gave up 5 runs. The bottom line.
Now Colton Wong, the Stanton homer gave Miami a 1-0 lead. Wong erased that with a 2-run homer in the 3rd. His 9th. And he clobbers that one to right, picked up by Stanton. 2 loud singles open the 8th. Garcia and Wong, and both lefties against left-hander Brad Hand. Here's Matt Carpenter.
People have asked about what happens when this guy comes back, when this guy comes back. There are pitchers, in my opinion, on the bubble that are in the bullpen. When certain guys come back, they may not be there. They may be out of a job. So if you're one of those pitchers and you're pitching out of the bullpen or even in the starting role, every time you go out there, you better have a good outing, because it's a numbers game.
Now Carpenter. Johnny Peralta on deck. The Nationals last night got a great start from Steven Strasburg. Tonight, Jordan Zimmerman morphed into his old form.
He morphed into Max Scherzer.
He morphed into the guy that we've seen for the last 4 or 5 years. 8 scoreless innings against Atlanta, giving up just 6 hits. Shelby Miller for the Braves went 7 innings, and the former Cardinal gave up a run on 3 hits. And that game is now top 9 in D.C., 1-0 Nationals. Drew Storen is pitching the 9th.
Boy, he's quietly put together a nice year.
Mets are trailing the Brewers 2-1. That's bottom 4 in Milwaukee.
Drew Storen 3rd in the league with 21 saves. Trevor Rosenthal picked up his 22nd last night. And I guess a quick trivia question would be, who leads the National League in saves? With 24.
I thought about Papelbon, but the Phillies only have 26 wins.
That would be Mark Melancon of the Pirates.
Right now the Reds lead the Pirates 5-2, bottom 6. There you go. Rosenthal with 22. Storin, Jason Grilli with 20. The way his season started, you thought Juris Familia would be near the top of that list.
You also thought his arm might fall off as often as they were using it.
Full count, 3-2. Brad Hand in a bit of a jam here. And Carpenter lines it to left. Garcia around third. He will score. Throw into second. And out at second base is Matt Carpenter. Ichiro throws him out. The Cardinals get another run at 6-1. Garcia scoring. Did Garcia tweak something or turn something? Also, I think the Cardinals are looking at the replay of Carpenter. First, let's watch Garcia when he comes to the plate.
He runs well right there.
Oh.
Right there. There's a little tweak. Back of the leg. Right there.
Now let's take a look and see what happened out at second base with Carpenter.
Well, the tough part is that it looked like the initial call was out, and then D. Gordon kind of stayed with the tag, went back to tag him, even though the throw beat him. Strong throw from Ichiro in left field. But getting back to my point of guys who should be worried about their jobs, here's that play. There's the tag. Looks like he got him out. The fact that he goes back, but it's almost a continuation in D's part. Let's see if he gets him here initially.
I think he's in, but watch the foot of Carpenter. It ends up on the foot of Gordon. And if he's tagged,
yeah, maybe not.
That foot, that left foot of Carpenter's is not on the bag. Here's a clear look at it. Cardinals challenge. The foot's up. And he's tagged out.
The bottom line, if you're a left-handed pitcher and you're brought in a game and you can't get 3 lefties out, one of them a pitcher, you should be worried about your job.
So Carpenter's going to get an RBI and a base hit. New York still looking at it. Both managers looking on. The initial swipe of the glove. Well, his hand beats glove, but then again the foot gets tied up. And Gordon goes back to tag him, and it wasn't until then that Brian Gorman, the second base umpire, called them out. He didn't call him out right there. He called them out when Gordon went back for the second tag. He's out. So it goes as an RBI single, an outfield assist for Ichiro. And with Johnny Peralta coming up, the Marlins are going to make a pitching change. Ichiro can still wing it out there in the outfield. Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. On Sunday, the Marlins and the Dodgers go at it at 1:10. You can pick up the Pepsi 4 for 74 pack and celebrate Josh Beckett Day at the ballpark. Relive Josh Beckett's greatest moments as a Marlin. The first 10,000 fans get a replica 2013 World Series ring, courtesy of Fox Sports Florida. Go to Marlins.com today.
A lot of Josh's teammates from that 03 team are going to be on hand, kind of helping him around the mound when he throws out the first pitch.
Mazzaro misses in to Johnny Peralta. Cardinals with a runner at third base. That would be Colton Wong. Reynolds takes a breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-1. So the one out recorded in the inning was Carpenter on the slide and tag at second. Peralta. The count 2-1. Johnny Peralta is 1 for 3. He's lined out, bounced out, singled and scored on the Jason Hayward 3-run homer. That was in the 7th. To third, runner comes home. Dietrich in a rundown. Real Muto, and Chavarria tags out Wong. Holding first is Peralta. Nice play by Derek Dietrich.
Yeah, 5-2-6 on this fielder's choice. Heads up on Dietrich's part. Got the short hop, picked up the runner, saw what was going on, and the Marlins completed quickly. And Echeverria thought about throwing behind Peralta at first base, but held on.
So it's Mark Reynolds with 2 outs, and Peralta at first. It's the end of the line for Jaime Garcia. We saw him what looked like a hamstring, but a leg injury going from second to third. Certainly you hope it's not serious. The young man has had to deal with so much with his shoulder. Randy Choate is up for the second time. Count 1-2. Things didn't quite work out for Drew Storen in the ninth. A blown save and a 1-1 game. Now in the bottom of the ninth, it's Atlanta and the Nationals in D.C. Reynolds goes down. Mazzaro finishes the inning. The Cardinals add on and lead at 6-1. 6-1, St. Louis, Randy Choate, who has had a really nice career as a lefty specialist.
Again, good numbers. I think the one that stands out is when you see 32 games, yet 13 and a third innings pitched. That gives you an idea how he's used. He's been in over 600 major league games, and he truly is the guy. When you look in the dictionary for left-handed specialist, you see a picture of Randy Choate.
Derek Dietrich ran out of the chute. You got D. Gordon and then Ichiro. It's a 5-run lead for the Cardinals. And Dietrich lines one to left for a base hit.
Good approach. Nicely done by Derek Dietrich. If you're a lefty and you know you're getting that sidearm stuff from Choate, you stay back and do just what Derek Dietrich did.
Now D. Gordon, who's 1 for 3. And a strike. Randy Choate was a Marlin in 2011. Made 54 appearances. Had a 1.82 ERA. And a Marlin for 44 appearances in 2012. Gordon's bouncer in the hole at short. Peralta. Wong's relay is wild. Not sure what it hit. If it hit a post or the fence and came back, Gordon will stay. If it went in and hit a piece of camera or something in the dugout and came out, and I think Gordon will be at first base.
It's a good idea. Still a good approach by D. Gordon to try to go that way. Never really got turned. Colton Wong to make that play. Probably a good throw. Wouldn't have had him anyway.
That hit a post and stayed in play. There's Ichiro. David Phelps up in Miami's bullpen. Ichiro's liner. Grichuk makes the catch.
Well, the three lefties have really gone up there with a plan and terrific approach. Talk about crazy, funky motions. Down from the side. And he's only going to face lefties. With Jeff Baker due up and Giancarlo. Once again, the lefty specialist is done for the night.
Kendall Toyota outs. You can follow the Marlins or your favorite team all season long. MLB.com @bat, #1 app for live baseball. Up to the moment, any moment. In-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com @bat for your smartphone or tablets. Seth Maness. We talked about the team ERA and how good it is with the Cardinals, both rotation and bullpen. Maness, a ERA in the mid-3s. Justin Bour pinch hitting for Jeff Baker. So it's Bour with 2 outs. And Maness misses outside.
Just to get back to Randy Choate, in his 33 appearances this year, only 4 times has he thrown 10 or more pitches.
2-0 pitch. Bour pulls it right to the first baseman, Mark Reynolds. And Miami is done in the 8th. Cardinal bullpen keeps it at 6-1. Florida Honda dealers. By Kubota. By Coral Springs Auto Mall. And by Florida Coast Equipment. 6-1 Cardinals on top of the Marlins. Night has fallen in Miami. Justin Bour stays in the ball game. He's at first. Ben Mazzaro. First pitch to Jason Hayward, who had a game-changing swing in the 7th. 2-1 game. And Hayward widened the gap with a 3-run homer to right. It was the second homer that Matt Latos gave up tonight. 2-run homer by Colton Wong erased a 1-0 lead. And the Cardinals haven't looked back since. They added a run in the 8th. So Hayward 1 for 3, his 9th homer. And he's hot right now, a 7-game streak. He's got 13 hits in those 7 games. 4 of those have been home runs.
Yeah, it's one of those streaks where it's not just a 1 hit, a single every night.
High fly ball. Stanton in. And he makes the catch.
I like it, Rich, when people send us, they try to trick us with tweets. Because at Seahorse Swag 84 says, any chances we see Justin Twine in a Marlins uniform by the end of this season or sooner? Well, as Seahorse Swag, I looked up Justin Twine's numbers. He's in low A in Greensboro. He's hitting .202 with 2 home runs and 13 RBIs. He's struck out 52 times and walked twice. No, I don't think we'll see Justin Twine.
I think the viewer just wanted to hear you get your blood pressure to get up a little bit. Molina has a rare infield hit. He couldn't have rolled that one out there any better. Dietrich was playing deep. So it's a hit for Molina.
Yeah, you're right. Molina doesn't get too many of those. You can see how deep Dietrich was. The only play that could be made would be Dietrich's. But he kind of pulled off the ball, and then there was no chance for Echeverria.
Matt has a tweet wanting to know, with Stanton swinging the way he is right now, would it make any sense to move him back into the 3 spot?
Then Matt in 2 weeks will tweet us back. Let's get him back to the number 4 spot. So just bounce back and forth. It's not going to make that much difference until guys around Giancarlo Stanton start to hit and produce.
See, that's the beauty of that first tweet that sets up the second tweet. The first tweet raises the blood pressure. The second tweet sends him over the top. It's become a precise science. Here's John Jay hitting a line drive. Dietrich caught it, goes across the diamond and gets the double play.
John Jay can't believe the night he's had.
Oh, he's hit rockets all over the place. And he's 0 for 4. That's the 3rd line drive he's had caught on the night, and that was a bullet. Another nice play by Dietrich. Tonight, Checkers brings you Marlins Live. After the ball game, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. The Cardinals, impressive last night, impressive tonight. And especially tonight on the mound, Jaime Garcia continues the nice run that he's on. Bullpen's been solid. Giancarlo Stanton here, and he sends one into center field.
Look at that first pitch swinging every time, and he has 3 hits tonight.
Yep, that's the second single. The last single hit the top of the wall in right field. This one cut right through the infield against the shift.
Well, that's just really, really nice hitting. And you know, you and I talk about it all the time. When Stanton gets locked in that way, look out.
Seth Main is still in the ball game. Randy Choate came in relief of Jaime Garcia and started the 8th. No report yet on Garcia, and what looked to be discomfort in that right leg. You hope that it's just a cramp. One and two. Miami tonight has 7 hits. Stanton has 3 of them, including a home run. But the rest are just scattered singles.
And the Marlins have continued to struggle in that runners in scoring position situation. Yadier Molina takes one off that mask. Not a lot of chances tonight, but 0 for 4 in those situations.
Down goes Ozuna. So 1 out, and here is JT Realmuto. We've been talking about this homestand for the last month. You have 3 really good ball clubs coming through. You start with the Cardinals, who have the best record in baseball. Then the Dodgers come in. The Dodgers lead in the West by a game. Now, the Dodgers have stumbled as of late, and the Giants are just a game back. Of course, it's the Giants who come in last. So Cardinals, Dodgers, Giants.
So Jimmy Rollins, Adrian Gonzalez,
Jock Peterson.
Jock Peterson. Marcel Puig.
Realmuto turns on one, and that's going to get fouled. One and two. Lance Lynn returns for the Cardinals tomorrow night. Of course, Dan Herron, who has, from the very start until right now, been the most consistent starter that the Marlins have had. Now still 1 and 2 on Realmuto.
Yeah, tough loss for Dan Herron in Cincinnati. 6 1/3. Gave up just 4 hits and a couple runs.
Hayward is there and he makes the catch. Stanton still at first. And Miami's down to their last out tonight. Here's Adeiny Echeverria. I guess this should be the final tweet of the night. Chase wants to know, I want to propose to my girlfriend at Fenway. Can you help? Hopefully she's not watching. I don't know, Hut, if we can legally do that. Roller right side, and Reynolds flips it. Matus on the bag, and the St. Louis Cardinals add to their major league best record, 47 and 24, 23 games over 500. And we've not yet hit July on the major league calendar. Jason Hayward with a 3-run homer. Colton Wong with a 2-run homer. Jaime Garcia stays hot. Gives up just a run in 7 innings. And St. Louis has taken the first 2 of this 3-game series. Marlins Live is coming up.